والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق وسيد المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. My dear brothers, my dear sisters, honorable guests, young and old, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of Allah, God Almighty, be upon each and every soul in this room. Before I begin, this light is so bright, but I can still see the crowd in the back. I'm sitting down now. Please sit down, inshallah. I have just a few words to share with all of you. But before I begin, I'm quite humbled by the words of Brother Mustafa. I'm nowhere near what he describes, but they're quite generous with their words. And I say that may God, may Allah make us all sincere in our work for His sake. Can you hear me? No? I cannot be closer. All right. Can you hear me? Brother Shraim, can you hear me? All right. So before I begin, sure. Hello. Dear brothers and sisters, before I share my words, I want to state that I'm quite humbled even by the presence that we have here. MashaAllah, it's incredible. I mean, we have people, I don't know if you know this, but we're not even locally represented in this crowd. I know people coming all the way from Frederick. Go Frederick. I mean, I'm talking about people who deliver, you know? I just said, listen, your students, your kids need you. And Allah didn't say much, and they're represented in massive numbers here. I'm just so honored, and I love that community. I feel like it's really my community. And we have people from Baltimore, all the way coming from Baltimore. So, if that doesn't show you something, I don't know what does. And I really want to recognize two people, because, many of these individuals have been so supportive of the MSA, and others are here with us as guests. And I'm thrilled to have them here. I want to begin with Dr. Ahmed Aidul. Is he here? Okay. Dr. Ahmed Aidul is in the Department of Civil Engineering. Now, he's a very quiet man, but I can't describe to you what his support has meant for the MSA. Actually, when I first saw him, I thought he was a student. I mean, look at him. I mean, and he's like, yeah, like, what do you do? What's your name? He's like, I'm in civil engineering. I'm like, oh, great, what year? It's like, I teach classes. I'm like, okay. It's been several years, and I cannot tell you, this man, subhanAllah, listen, I'm not saying it because he's here, but I really wanted to know how much he means to us. He's been incredible in his support, financial, emotional. He shows up to events. You don't understand, Professor Ahmed, what it has meant to the students and myself. Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much. Yeah, Dr. Sadna Al-Dairi, Jazakallah khair for being here. She's the mother of Mustafa, but I can't thank her enough. She's been tremendous. She's a specialist in counseling, and you understand what that has meant to many of our students who really go to her for counseling as well. That's a forgotten area in our Islamic presence, in our communities. And may Allah bless her and bring us more people who will be professionals in that particular field that is so desperately needed. And we have Professor Paul Gold here. Professor Paul Gold is from the Department of Psychology. He's a guest, and I call you guest of honor. I'm so thrilled. I got to know him through Professor Khamis last Friday. And I cannot tell you how enlightening that conversation was. I learned from this man in just 1 hour what I haven't learned in months and years. And I'm thrilled to have him. He's in the psychology department. I really want to tell you, take his classes, whatever you teach, I don't care. Take his classes. And you probably can't announce those classes to the rest of the students. Professor Agur, our official MSA advisor is Professor Agur. He's been here for a very long time. Brothers and sisters, maybe most of you do not know him. This man has been tremendous in his support to the MSA. Literally anything we ask for, he says, at your service. At your service. I came here in the 90s. Yes, I am ancient, but this man means a lot to me personally. I've known him, for more than a decade, and he's just been amazing. And I really want to thank you for your presence. Thank you so much. Dr. Saha Khamis, she's the new star that we have. I told her this before, but I cannot thank you enough for your support, Dr. Saha, because you are really a role model for the students who really represents the highest standards. She not only has actually in the community. Most professors don't have time. She's making time, and she is a professor, an educator. You know what that means to the students, to the sisters? She's a role model. I really want to thank you and tell you, you mean the world to us. Thank you so much. I do also have a lot of guests here that I cannot thank enough for them showing up. More names that I can enumerate here, from a very personal friend of mine, very dear to my heart, Dr. Kanan Butler, right there with his 5 children, coming from Baltimore. I really want to thank him for being here. I mean, I told him about this event, he learned about it to me, and he's like, I gotta be there. I want to do as much as I can for these students. And so how I really, his presence and his 5 children, being here on Sunday night means the world to me. Brother Shahid, Brother Arif, Frederick as well. Dr. Hassan Ibrahim, is he still here? Here he is. Dr. Hassan Ibrahim, also in the Department of Business on campus here, being with us. I really wanted to take the time to thank them personally because their presence does mean the world to all of us. I'm Muhammad Zabad right here. He's really like a father to me. And once again, see, his children graduated from here. He's still coming. Actually, do you still have him here? Anybody? You're here. Well, that's the 3rd one who shows up. Who's here, right? So 3rd here in Maryland. Isn't it true? Yeah, he had 2 people, 2 of his kids graduated, but his 3rd is right here. Thank you so much for your family, for your support and your presence. Brother Abdul Bey, are you here? I mean, you're the man. You feed the MSA. All right, you care so much, seriously. And people from here, the local community college park, FCC, coming from the community FCC. Can I have some hands, show of hands from FCC? Well, we have the best from FCC. As I said, literally every community is present here. And the young, subhanAllah, brothers and sisters, the students, their friends who are showing up, I really, really cannot thank you enough. The brothers and sisters, I'll spend 10 minutes, inshallah, just to kind of share with you some personal thoughts and reflections. I have been here for 13 years. So I'm very ancient, but I mean, don't be fooled. I mean, they tell me to look young, but don't be fooled by that. I'm very ancient. So I've passed through 3 university presidents, okay? And multiple generations of Muslim students, literally multiple generations. It's quite amazing to have the privilege to observe that every year. I mean, to work with one generation and leave, you have memories, but Allah privileged me to have the ability to work with, and with this generation leaving and a generation coming. I can't describe to you what that has meant to me. These students, brothers and sisters, your children, and if you don't have children, the children of people you know, and if you don't know people who have children, they're your kids as well. They've taught you so much. I mean, I can't tell you, they make me feel young. I mean, I keep coming back here, and people might think I'm working. I'm not working, I'm having fun. I'm having the time of my life in the MSA and working with the NWM as well. I swear by Allah Azza wa Jal that I can leave anything else in my life, but I cannot leave this. I'm not going to call it a job. The joy of my life. And I really love them all for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. They really keep me going, they give me life. My wife knows this very well. That's what she says, go. If that makes you happy, just go do whatever you're going to do, inshallah. Brothers and sisters, college is an incredible medium. It's an institution that educates. The prospect of having a degree is more exciting than probably anything else. And when we receive that piece of paper, you know what it means. It's amazing, though, that the contemporary age has, unfortunately, within this age, many of the educational institutions have even failed in their functions. And believe it or not, as much as we value those degrees, many students discover when they graduate that they have forgotten everything. Isn't it true? We pack all that information, memorize, regurgitate. We learn how to pass, how to do shortcuts, but then you dump the information. Believe it or not, brothers and sisters, tragically, many students graduate, they cannot even think. They cannot have an intelligent conversation. They cannot distinguish fact from opinion. Right? Many of them are not even mature. Many are not responsible. Many cannot plan their lives. Yet, they're graduates of universities. This is the reality, brothers and sisters. And I challenge you, if you were to ask many students, in general, in this 40,000 student university, and ask any of those students, what do you intend to do with your life? I bet you a lot of them will tell you, I don't know. What do you plan to do? I don't know. What's important to you? I don't know. I'm not joking. I've had those conversations with a lot of people, and all you get is a head shake. Is this really, brothers and sisters, what education is about? And that really underlines for you the challenge that we have to do our part to really help them get equipped with the skills and the education that they need. Beyond that, though, even more difficult to absorb is that the landscape of universities is very rough. I remember coming here, and I couldn't believe the amount of distractions that were present in front of me, calling me to different directions. Most people kind of get sucked into this, sucked into the life of a university, and literally turn their journey in universities into nothing but play. Universities become a big play field for many of the young people. Believe it or not, brothers and sisters, people look forward to being in a university to party. Most students, brothers and sisters, drink. Many people use drugs. Alcohol addiction, very rampant in college campuses. It's a scary thing, and it's not a joke, and it's real. And many of us, Muslim parents, and in the community, think somehow that our children are immune from this. Well, I have this for you. They're not immune from this. They're bombarded by the same pressures as anybody else. You'll say, no, not my kid. Right? No way. Well, guess what? Yes, they are exposed to the same pressures that can make you and me, who are older, buckle. We're so far removed from the university experience that perhaps in your days, right, maybe these pressures were not there, but nonetheless, brothers and sisters, these incredible, tremendous pressures are there, pressing against your children, and you don't know what's going on, oftentimes. I tell you what else, brothers and sisters, happens to many of the younger Muslim students. Many of them actually lose their faith in universities. Their faith either gets weakened, or they lose it altogether. That's how much the pressure is operating on them. That's how heavy it is. Brothers and sisters, subhanAllah, in this large institution, where you have literally 40,000 students, where most are barely holding on, and unaware of what's going on, and as I said before, you know it, they graduate and they're lost. And I always ask the question, what are we doing for them? What kinds of things have we given them to empower them to live at a better place, with a better condition? I have twins, brothers and sisters. Let me give you just my thinking process and how scared I get at the prospect of abandoning our children. I have twins, Manik and Leia. Last Friday they had their second year birthday. So I was like looking at them, they've grown so fast. I mean, who's a parent here? Parents? You know how fast your children grow, isn't it true? It's amazing. Like before you know they're taller than you, you're like, whoa, what has happened? I was just, giving you milk and breastfeeding you and whatever, and you suddenly like an old man and woman, and you now know more than me, right? At least that's what they think. But it's amazing how fast they grow, brothers and sisters. And I want to ask you a question. How many of us are looking, just as I was looking at my children Friday night, and thinking to themselves, what kind of a human being are you going to become? Who amongst us is not thinking that as a parent? I know every parent is thinking it. Are you not also scared for the futures? Are you not thinking, do I have guarantees that they'll become mature people? Do I have guarantees they'll become responsible people? Do I have guarantees that they'll have good friends? Do I have guarantees that when they're attracted to an addictive practice, something illicit, something terrible, obscene, that they'll have good people around them to pull them away from that? I, as a parent, I'm telling you, those concerns are pressing hard against my mind and my heart. I say, may Allah protect them when they get older. But brothers and sisters, as a parent, you know you're worried and you're concerned. And it's not something that leaves. Who, brothers and sisters, as I said, does not think about this? I remember, I'm not sure who said this, but I think it's Hillary Clinton. It takes a village to raise a child, isn't it true? Okay, maybe it's cliche-ish, whatever. But brothers and sisters, it does take a community to raise our children. Especially in this critical period of time where the pressures are so enormous. We think by just wishing that they become successful, they become successful. It doesn't work that way. As I told you before, even in college, brothers and sisters, they leave without even having the tools to succeed. I remember 13 years ago. You learn shortcuts. You learn the best way to get by without even reading a book. You learn how to bring exams and just learn the best way to get by and get the grade and just forget about the subject you've learned. What kind of a human being do you leave? You get attracted to bad friends who will pull you into parties and this and that, and before you know it, you don't even know or recognize you've lost yourself. You've lost your identity. Brothers and sisters, this is so real. I remember in 1998 when I came here, I was fortunate there was a musalla. There was a prayer room. It wasn't here in Ballfield. It wasn't Bolzapallah. So I didn't know what kind of struggles people before we went through, but I heard just a year before they've acquired that space. They've acquired that space. For years, brothers and sisters, as you heard before, they were praying in the chapel, in classrooms. It was difficult. It was difficult. I was fortunate enough to find that oasis called the community. And I cannot even fathom what the world in this university would have meant to me had I not found that community. I could have easily, brothers and sisters, been like any of the losers that have graduated and they have no life. No meaning, no purpose, no mission in life. I didn't have community consciousness until I joined the NSA. And I was fortunate enough to have brothers and sisters who told me, they made it so welcoming and so beautiful that I joined. And Allah, as cliche as it sounds, it really did change me. And I couldn't even be standing here before you if it wasn't for the brothers and sisters who were around me in 1998 to really put me on a new path, so to speak. That meant more than just academics, learning this and that. It meant giving me an experience, brothers and sisters. It meant giving me a shelter. Giving me a space in the middle of campus where when I'm tired emotionally, I can go and pray and he gets hooked up with Allah. Where I can go to my brother and share my whatever is on my mind or my soul. And Allah, brothers and sisters, those friendships, until this very day I remember them. And in fact, many of the friends that I have until now, my friendships with them go back to 1998. What does they have, Hassan? Yeah. Where are you? Here he is. It's one of the first friends I've had. Until now, we were the closest of friends. Where did that happen? It happened here right here in Damascus. I cannot be thankful enough to Allah for that friendship by itself. And many others, brothers and sisters, but I'm blessed to have him with us here today. You'll hear from him shortly. Brothers and sisters, the work of the NSA continues. SubhanAllah, in this campus, incredible large campus of 40,000 students and faculty, the NSA continues to grow. And I've observed it growing. Observed it continuing, wallahi, no joke, to save lives of people. Sure, nothing is perfect. Nothing is perfect. But the incredible work that it does, just building this community, pulling people in, protecting them from the winds, the bad winds that are out there. It doesn't mean that we don't go out. No. But brothers and sisters, the pressures are enormous, and you need friends. And who amongst us doesn't want their children to have those good friends? Then ensure, you know what, you're alright. You're not suffering. You're not being pulled into a bad direction. Brothers and sisters, nothing also comes cheap. You know, we often say we want our children to succeed. But we give them food and drink, and we think that's sufficient. It's never sufficient. We ask them to succeed, but never give them the tools to succeed. Well, my brothers and sisters, one of the saddest things from my humble experience, observing our Muslim communities, is that we are busy building masajid and enlarging structures. Isn't it true? We're very busy enlarging the structure and beautifying the masjid. But what we haven't done is invest time and effort into the youth that will build the masajid, that will fill it, that will bring it to life, that will go out into our society and indeed be the best representatives of this faith, whose work is beyond the masjid. Because your children, brothers and sisters, have grown up in this country. They know it better than you. They know the landscape. They understand it. They're fully American. And they have incredible identity to forge. What have we done to help them out in this? I wonder. If we're counting on the next generation to outdo us, to really define what it means to be fully American and fully Muslim in this country, then, brothers and sisters, if it's not the next generation, then we know what we have done and what we haven't done. The next generation is where it's at, brothers and sisters. But talk is cheap. Rhetoric is cheap. You cannot wish them to succeed and get to that next level. And wallahi, brothers and sisters, I cannot tell you how critical your support is. Your students, I receive letters, brothers and sisters, sometimes that will make you cry. A lot of your children are emotionally distressed. A lot of your children are facing problems and they have incredible needs. They have no one to turn to. Wallahi, it's my honor that Allah placed me in a place where I can at least try to help. Try to help. And there's an incredible, wallahi, fruit that I taste when I'm with them. Because they have no one to turn to. What have we done for them? We send them to our university and we have no idea what happens to them. Wallahi, brothers and sisters, I've seen, you know this MSA you're observing right now? This campus has thousands of Muslim students. You know that most of them have never been to the prayer room? Where are they? We're trying to outreach to them, by the way, just to let you know. But many of them are lost. They don't know. They don't know. And for all they know, you know what? They think they're having, the best time of their lives. That's a lot of our children, brothers and sisters. A lot of our children. Why is it, brothers and sisters, and I really want to challenge your thinking, that other faiths, Judaism, Christianity, on this campus, they have actually centers to support their children, their youngsters. You know this? They have full-time staff because they recognize what it means to invest in their younger generation. We Muslims, until now, we cannot figure it out. We complain about our children, we whine about them, but we don't want to give the support that they need to be empowered and transformed. Why is it that they have this incredible support in those communities and we, until now, are debating it and we're busy arguing in the masjid? We're busy asking ourselves, what's the next project? While our children, a lot of our brothers and sisters, are not finding that source to nourish them, to fulfill them. And alhamdulillah, brothers and sisters, on this campus we have an MSA that is considered one of the largest in the country. And I'm not trying to boast about it, but it is. It has done incredible work. It has personally done incredible things for me. It really did give me a purpose and a mission. Brothers and sisters, in conclusion, I want to tell you that, me personally, I've decided a few years ago, 2000, that, subhanAllah, after what I've seen with the MSA, what it has done for me personally, it gave me a taste of life, of the beauty of life. To be able to work, to dedicate yourself to great causes, to connect with others, to have community consciousness, to look beyond yourself, to work with not only your Muslim community, other communities as well, to understand how to work with people. I have decided personally to do whatever I can. And it's my privilege and honor to do that. Allah has allowed me to do this, not because I thought I could do it. Allah has opened the door for me. God Almighty opened the door for me. I took the opportunity, and at this point, reflecting back, I cannot be more thankful to Allah Azza wa Jalla. But let me tell you the thought that crosses my mind all the time. When I think of working with younger people, I think right away of my children. I know my children one day will grow. I might not be there for them. But I work with these younger people. Yeah, I'm not their parent, but you know what? They're like my brothers and sisters, more than my brothers and my sisters. I think the life and sisters of my children, when they grow up and they're in college, who they'll have. And I trust Allah, who is the Shakur, the one who, Allah, gives you more than what you expect and rewards you for every need that you do. That inshallah, by the will of Allah, He'll send to my children people who will be there to protect them. That thought never leaves my mind, brothers and sisters. So I want you to think, when you're thinking of other children, treat them as yours. And your children will grow up. And they're going to need that refuge one day. If you failed others, maybe your children will be failed. Don't let that thought, brothers and sisters, escape from you. I also want children that when I depart from this life, what do they do for me? Make dua for me. Well, how are they going to make dua for me when I'm in the grave? If they have no idea who Allah is. If they have no consciousness of Allah, if they've never even prostrated, how will they do this? Brothers and sisters, to be able to produce children that are empowered, that are great, we need to do a lot of work for them. Talk, once again, is easy. But if you want your children to make dua for you, and we love to talk about this, well, you've heard the story tonight. It's a story that has been communicated to you. You're here, you've heard it, you have decisions to make. This MSA does not work, brothers and sisters, in a vacuum. It does financially cost money. The Qur'ans that they even subhanAllah purchase and they will go out like complicators. They cost a lot of money, thousands of dollars. The events, this event by itself costs $3,000. It's not cheap. It's not cheap to run the activities of the MSA. It requires your emotional support, your presence. Your presence here means the world to them. Imagine if you were not there, what they'll say. Our fathers and mothers have failed us. But it also needs your financial support. I thank you very much, brothers brothers and sisters, for being here. We need your God and supplications. We need your work. We need your hearts and soul. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In conclusion, what I just share a couple of final thoughts. First, I really want to thank each and every one of you, especially the parents, the professors, our honored guests, for being here with us. Your very presence, by Allah, by God Almighty, means the world to all of us. Means the world to every heart amongst these younger people that you see around you, whether they're your children or they're not your children. Your presence here, I want to say also, is not random. There's no coincidence in life. There's no random things happening in our lives. God Almighty, Allah has meant for you to be here, to hear something with your ears. At the end of tonight, brothers and sisters, in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you'll be out of this room, exiting from that door, the lights will be off, and this will be nothing but a memory. And truly will go on to other things in life. But you've heard this story, brothers and sisters. And when you walk out that door, you have a decision. You've heard this story, you decide what you want to do for your children, for your students. You don't fight what goes on. You don't fight what goes on in campuses like this, with universities like this. They need your help and support, brothers and sisters. And as we stated, the MSA does not run on an empty fuel. It needs your help, your emotions, your care, your sensitivity to these students, to your children, and ultimately your financial support. Brothers and sisters, I really want to say that I myself, and Allah is my witness, I'm pledging to you, to all the parents in the community, that I'll do my absolute best. By the will of Allah, and it's not me, it's Allah allowing us to participate in this great project called Empowering the Next Generation. Because we might not have been able to do what we wanted to do. We might not have had the awareness. But you know what you can do to empower yourself? Empower the younger people. Very simple. You don't have to do much, brothers and sisters. Others are willing to do the work. I myself commit to you that I'll continue, inshallah, to do my absolute best for this incredible community of youngsters, my dear brothers and sisters, the younger ones. I'll do my absolute best. I dedicate, inshallah, my life for them. Because I love them for the sake of Allah, it's my honor. But all I'm asking you, brothers and sisters, is not to fail them as parents, thinking about your children, their future, how to come out of this campus by the will of Allah. I also want to promise you, brothers and sisters, that inshallah, great plans are on the way for next semester, next year. This inshallah will get a common brainstorm. I've already spoken to the students. We're so excited. This is a beautiful Kabbala. You know that, subhanAllah, the vicious campaigns going on, demonizing Islam and so forth. 10th anniversary of 9/11 Islam. These are really very difficult times. If we're not out there, if we're not aware and conscious of the difficulties and challenges, talking to people, enlightening them, making them see who Muslims are, we really are, then we failed ourselves, failed our children, failed our roles as servants of Allah on this earth. So brothers and sisters, please before you leave, I'm asking you, and as I said to you, I dedicate Allah and myself to this. Please commit yourself by donating to this MSA. By Allah, inshallah, your money will not go to waste. Inshallah, it can save lives of younger people, and inshallah, we're going to reach out to more people. You have the pledge forms. Please do not leave this room without having made that decision to pay something, to contribute financially to this organization. And your word is with the Almighty, who never fails anybody doing anything for Him. The Prophet ﷺ, I remember this dua, and I love this dua. He always said every single day, رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا مِنْ لَدُنكَ عَمَلًا صَالِحًا يُقَرِّبُنَا إِلَيْكَ. He says, oh my Lord, grant me the opportunity. He looked at it as a privilege, as an opportunity to do a good deed that will please you. Perhaps this could be a deed, brothers and sisters, that will save us. That inshallah Allah will look at and bless for us. That dime, that dollar, could be a dollar that Allah gives your children with. Please don't leave without that. Inshallah, brothers and sisters, there's nothing but good things that will happen, inshallah, by the will of Allah. And I really want to thank you once again for being with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please come again when you hear of an MSA event. We'd love to see you again. I love you all for the sake of Allah. May Allah bless all of our students. Your children have organized this event. We haven't done anything. They're the ones who carry this. And many other incredible events on this campus. I love this campus. I love these students. Thank you once again. May the peace of Allah be upon you. Assalamu alaikum.